Good morning. I'm Jen Amos at Weiss Research.
I'm Andy Myers, and this is your morning market alert for Monday, August 15th. Stocks on Wall Street seem to be regaining their footing after one of the most volatile weeks in history. The Dow Industrials began last week with 4 straight sessions in which it swung more than 400 points, the only time that's ever happened. And the blue chip index finished the week with a loss of about 1.5%. But today, investors seem to be reacting positively to a wave of mergers and acquisitions, including a huge deal in the technology sector. They're also digesting a report on manufacturing in the New York area, which we'll break down for you after the opening bell. Then later this morning, the National Association of Home Builders will release its housing market index for August.
Turning our attention overseas, we're seeing modest gains across the European markets, and Asian stocks are broadly higher, following a better-than-expected GDP report from Japan. The Japanese economy contracted by an annual rate of 1.3% in the second quarter. That comes after a 3.6% decline from January to March, which included the effects of the earthquake and tsunami. But the country's economic recovery seems to be proceeding faster than expected. Economists were looking for GDP to decline twice as fast in the second quarter. Following the data, the Japanese yen is gaining ground against most other currencies, including the dollar. But one currency the dollar is beating this morning is the Swiss franc. That currency continues to tumble from recent record highs, amid reports that the Swiss National Bank will take even more measures to weaken the franc. Those steps could include lowering interest rates to below 0% or even pegging its currency to the euro. The Swiss franc's status as a safe haven investment hurts the country's exporters.
In corporate news, Google is making a major play into the telecom sector. The internet giant is buying Motorola Mobility for $12.5 billion. The price is a 63% premium to Motorola Mobility's closing price on Friday, and that stock is jumping 60% in the pre-market. Google is dropping about 2.5% on the news. Shifting to the energy sector, Transocean is buying Norway's Aker Drilling for about $2.2 billion, including debt. And a takeover battle may be heating up for reinsurer Transatlantic Holdings. That company had previously agreed to a $3 billion buyout from Allied World Assurance. But now, a unit of Warren Buffett's investment firm Berkshire Hathaway seems to be jumping into the fray. National Indemnity signed a confidentiality agreement with Transatlantic and may make a superior proposal to the existing bid.
We also have some big news in the financial sector to tell you about. Bank of America is getting out of the international credit card business and focusing on its core customer groups in the United States. As part of the move, B of A is selling its Canadian cards and business to Toronto Dominion Bank for $8.6 billion. Bank of America said it will also sell its UK and Ireland credit card businesses. Right now, its shares are gaining about 3%. And finally, Weiss Ratings tells us that only one financial institution closed its doors last week, the First National Bank of Olathe in Kansas. That brings the total number of failed banks and thrifts this year to 64 versus 110 at the same time last year. That's the latest from Weiss Research. We'll be back after the opening bell with all the economic data and market news, including quarterly results from one of the world's biggest home improvement retailers.